Hello, guys. Welcome back for one more episode of It's a DARMAR. We are on a 25th episode, if you can believe. And today I brought a very special guest. His name is Leon Tukker. He's an amazing artist. Why is he amazing? Because he does a very different kind of style. And he works in VR, he works in 3D, and makes amazing environments. So you probably saw his work, and you can already see his work on my screen that he's sharing. He's gonna go from the whole VR process to the end how he did it. So hi, Leon.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully
Hey,
in
man.
this time, hopefully in this time that we can do it. But
That would be awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome, I'm sure, because people are expecting. So how are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. How about yourself?
On my screen. I am amazing. We saw each other on the playgrounds, right?
Yeah, it was only 2 weeks ago.
Only two. Actually, it was 1 week or two.
1 week?
I think it was
Yeah,
one.
yeah, week and a half. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, as artists, we lose the time all the time.
Oh man, yeah, time flies.
It was nice to see you, man. There, you
Absolutely,
you have been such a huge inspiration to me. Like your work exploded around 2017. People started to really notice it, and well deserved, because for me your work was always very inspirational because it was fresh and new.
thank you so much, man. That's really kind of you.
I always like when I see an artist that does different kind of things and different style, and you were already then, you weren't using VR, right? But you were already implementing 3D.
Yeah, a lot of 3D. I think I've been using 3D for like 9 years now already. That's when I first started it. And then later I started adding Photoshop, and I've been working as a freelancer for about 4 years now. So it's been a little while. Yeah,
It has been
but
a little
man,
while, but you exploded, man, in 2017. I remember your work was everywhere. I love it because you're creating amazing scenes and amazing worlds. So what drives you, man, to do that kind of stuff? Did you study architecture maybe before, or how
um,
did that go? Can you explain us a bit the
yeah,
timeline?
that's a great question actually. Well, I've never really studied art. As a kid, I was never really into drawing or into doing 3D stuff. But I was a big fan of playing with Legos.
Mm.
The bricks. I thought that was the best thing ever. And I was also a lot into sports. Like I wanted to be a professional high jumper. Like if you type in Leon Tucker on YouTube, you can probably see me jumping over something. I don't know. Um, but when sports didn't work out, I just didn't know what to do. Like I had a pretty miserable time. But then
Ah.
on my school, which was like commercial design school, there was like a guy, and he told me, "Yo, dude, use Cinema 4D. It's awesome." And I'm like, "I would just want to play video games, man. Leave me alone." But in the end, he kind of pushed me, and then I started working in it, and I found out, hey, wait a minute, this actually feels like playing with Legos a little bit. And then I started just experimenting with it, and I bought a graphics tablet, and then I started painting over it, and then after a while, I found out, hey, wait a second, you can turn this into a career. That's crazy. Like I found out the work of Craig Mullins, with all these concept art books, and yeah, I was so blown away. And then at one point, I started getting kind of work, requests, like these small freelance jobs. So I kind of got into the industry by accident, really. I didn't really know that there was an industry. I just was working with the 3D stuff because I thought it was fun. And yeah, and now it's my job. So it's been really great.
Mm. Yeah, that's a great crazy story because you went from sports, and
Yeah.
I spoke with other artists on this stream, and when I come to the events, mostly artists don't like sports, man. Mo-
Yeah. I
It's
think that's kind of true.
it is. I mean, of course, there are artists that like sports, but mostly artists, when we start talking about sports, I adore sports. I love them my whole
Hmm.
life. I did them my whole life, and I still watch soccer, basketball, and stuff like
Oh,
that.
great. Yeah. Serbia has a great team, right? In basketball as well.
Yeah, we are pretty good. Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, I will never forget when we played against Holland and we lost. and we
Oh,
lost.
really? You did?
But that was in soccer, man. Our guy
Oh, in
shot
soccer.
and we lost. The soccer was the one of the best teams in the world. I remember, like, and
Yeah.
orange shorts and everything. So yeah.
Which match was that? Was that the one that the Netherlands won with 6-1?
No, that was no, don't tell me that. That was recently. This was like 98, 99.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh
But yeah,
man.
but it's fascinating that you did sports and you wanted to do it professionally, and now you're doing in
Yeah.
art. Do you think that it influenced your art a lot? Because I think it influenced mine. I don't know what you think about that.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like sports that they allow you to just be a little bit more competitive, and they allow you to like keep wanting to, get better, I think.
Yeah,
And so I think, yeah, being into sports really helps. And I think that art, you could compare it to sports almost, because you're actually training to get better, right? You're training to get to the top. I don't know if you want to go to the top, but yeah, you're always working to get better. And with sports, it's exactly the same thing. All
yeah.
right. I'll just put my audio on my Oculus Rift so I can start doing the VR stuff.
Please do, and we will try to speak. I don't know how comfortable it will be because you have to draw and speak. So let's see how that goes. If you
Oh,
need,
that will be fine. Don't
okay,
worry.
you're a pro. You are a pro then. I know when I'm drawing and talking, my mouth gets tired. Literally, my tongue starts slapping in my teeth. Literally,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So guys, Leon's gonna draw now in VR, and he's gonna show you the stuff there. So he's connecting Oculus, and here we are. We are live in VR. I
Oh
tried.
man.
Man, I literally have goosebumps when I see this. Like I saw it on the THU and tried to work in it. I'm getting mine very soon. So crazy. Oh,
Yeah,
hello.
it's VR is so fantastic because I've been using 3D a lot in my workflow, where I would make a 3D model first, like modern architecture stuff and spaceships. But then with VR, it also allowed me to come up with more organic structures. Like, poof, you can literally like sketch out a building like this in just a matter of seconds. And before I was kind of limited to the hard surface stuff, which is awesome, but it made my work kind of look the same a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Most of when I get hired for work, they hire me to do these cityscapes, like sci-fi cities, and yeah, that started to get like a little bit boring almost. So with VR, I'm trying to actually come up with new stuff. So sometimes I just go in here and try to sketch out a building, see if something looks cool. And yeah, it's all a matter of experimenting. And going back to my education, I went into theater school, so it had nothing to do with art really.
Okay.
But but I did the art thing on my spare time, and I'm just a big fan of modern architecture that came with the years. But I've never studied for it, so I don't even know how a building is supposed to work, right? I just like the funky shapes and stuff.
But
All right, so
you're doing it great. I mean, your art is very spectacular. And I think that's because you didn't study. You don't have that many restrictions in your head. I think that's very important.
yeah, maybe it's like that. Let me see if I can find my scene. Oh yeah, because I wanted to, if that's okay with you, I wanted to talk about that crab, like the big crab painting I made.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do it.
So
I love the
yeah,
crab. I also love that kind of animal. So, how are they called in English? In Serbian, it's glavkari. I don't know how it's in English, that type of animals. I adore it.
crustaceans.
Crustaceans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you look in the VR, the model is actually super simple. It's only like a couple of very blocky shapes, right? With just like a whole lot of copied stuff underneath. Like we can just dissect this guy now.
Yeah.
Like do a proper surgery on him. See, he's just hollow from the inside. But then in 3D, I can texture it a lot more and make it a whole lot more detailed by just adding a texture. And then you get to the final model. I'll just keep track of the time. In the meantime, you can see on my controllers probably that I have a little clock, so I know that I am not like rambling and we're wasting time.
Keep the competitive spirit from sports. Timing.
Yeah. So yeah. So what have you been working on lately?
I've been working on my book. I think that's a normal thing. I've been working on my book, but yeah, we saw it on playgrounds. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm finally finishing that thing and hopefully continuing with my life.
Awesome, man. I mean, yeah, you've been showing it to Max Berman and me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was so impressive. I
Thank you
think
so
everyone
much.
was pretty much blown away by that.
Oh my God, thank you so much for that. I will cry now. Let me turn off my camera. But
I mean, the amount of work in the book was pretty insane. I
thank
have
you.
to be honest, yeah.
Thank you. I didn't sleep very much.
Ah,
But you just placed a reference photo, if I'm seeing right.
yeah, that's
Nice.
right.
And you can put the reference like that, like in a 3D
Yeah,
and
yeah, you can just drag it around like, ooh, look at this crab. Oh, that's awesome, right?
yeah, and you are immediately seeing there. This is insane. I mean, what is the advantage for you when it comes to VR for when you compare 3D and VR? What is the advantage for you?
Okay, so the main thing is like when this is always a very hard thing for me to explain, but when you're working in 3D software like Maya or Cinema 4D, there is always something between what you want to make and what you're actually making. There's a bunch of hotkeys and there's like your mouse clicks that are blocking your creativity from happening. I feel. I mean, again, this is super hard for me to explain, but with VR, there's literally nothing between you and what you want to make. There's just these two simple controllers with very simple buttons, and you can just do woo, whatever you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just allows you to come up with shapes so much faster. I can now, by looking at the reference, I can quickly sketch out how I want my crab to look like.
Makes you feel more expressive. That's I think the
Yeah, it's a lot more expressive,
your
definitely.
personality is much more in that sketch than in 3D because 3D has boxy stuff and polygons
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to put your own style into the 3D. I think when it comes to shape language, you can also see it in your work. Then you definitely see what you like to make, right? Because there's this very specific shape language going on. So you can still do it in 3D, but in VR, it's just yeah. So it's so crazy, like how fast it is.
Yeah, I see you're already drawing. You're using some kind of line tool, as I can see.
Yeah, just a regular line tool, and then when it's done, probably in a minute, I will just color it in. I won't stay for too long in VR because I wanted to show some of the 3D workflow as well.
Okay.
So I guess this is fine. We'll just make a smaller crab for now. Yeah, we can probably do some duplications. Okay, and then I will just make this layer a little bit less bright. And then I will drag my reference into a new layer because I want that to be still as bright. I will lock these layers. And now I'm going to try to create some shapes to, make the, to give the crab more volume, basically.
Yeah.
Let me see, grab color here.
How long have you been working in VR?
I think for about a year now. Yeah, I think I started in summer last year when it was super hot. It was super crazy. Like I was like, oh man, I need this Oculus Rift in my life. I need it right now. But it's 40 degrees outside. Like what am I gonna do? So I was sweating all the time and it was horrible. But then once it started cooling down a little bit, it was just way better.
Have you heard about air condition?
Well, we don't really have it in the Netherlands because we're not really used to those crazy like hot weather situations.
Really? Yeah, the global warming is happening. But what I wanted to say is that you are really proficient with it. I have fast eyes and I can see everything, but when you are working, you're so fast that I'm losing the focus literally. So you're really proficient, as I can see.
But the thing is though that now because we're on such a tight time frame, I just need to be fast. So I'm actually not caring if my model works. You know, I'm just giving it some volume, and then I'll probably try to save it in Photoshop and in 3D. All right, so I'm just gonna use the regular like line tool.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to see, so I'm gonna see if I can adjust the settings.
No. We see everything. We see everything as you're.
Okay.
No worries. But you're proficient. I've seen your movement of the arms. It's crazy. Like you can see. Yeah, you can see that you will be playing with that for some time.
Yeah, man. It's such a fun workflow. Sometimes I forget how much fun it is because when you're very busy with work, it's sometimes I just forget about VR for a while. And then once you're yeah, once you're back into it, it's just so much fun. Right. But again, don't mind don't mind me because I'm making a super ugly model right now, just to see like that even with as long as the dimensions are somewhat okay, you can still turn it into something cool in Photoshop, I think. With a lot of texturing and a lot of these motion graphics techniques.
I see. I want to ask you one question that guys posted, and
Oh,
they're asking, are you there?
yeah, I am there.
The
Can you
screen,
hear me?
the screen froze.
Yep. Oops.
No
That sucks.
worries, no worries, no worries. Relax. I mean, that can always happen because
Yeah.
of the Skype and everything. Maybe turn off the share screen, turn on the share screen.
Okay, let's see if that works. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just go off of the VR,
Okay, no worries.
stop sharing, and then share my screen again. Because this doesn't happen too often. It's probably because the screen share. But
Yeah.
I'm just gonna reboot the Gravity Sketch real quick. Or
Okay,
wait,
no
am I back?
worries, no worries. We have time. While you're doing that, I can ask you. So take your time. It happens. I mean, it's a live event, so that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So while you're doing that, I would ask you one question as you're doing it. Antonio Esparza asks, what do you think about use of VR to sketch blockings for video games and keyframes?
Oh, I think that's fantastic. I mean, because it's so fast. Like when you're working with your art director, for example, or with your producer, you can just make something in VR so fast and then show it to your art director. Like, ooh, this is what the dimensions could look like, or maybe this is how a spaceship flies through the scene, right? And you can literally like give your art director or your boss, you can give them your VR set, so they can like go around the model like, ooh, okay, so this is how big those pincers can be, or maybe they're like, oh, can you make those bigger? Yeah, sure, I can make them bigger. Poof. See? So it's so you can make adjustments so fast. So definitely, yeah, for pre-visualization in video games, I think it's really great, and also for creating storyboards because you can create such a fast base to work from. Anyway, I just went back to my previous grab, but it wasn't done doing exactly the same thing, so it's kind of all right.
No
I
worries.
can show something different real quick.
Take your time, easy.
Let's see.
I mean, 3D crashes. I can imagine. Does VR crash a lot or no?
No, so that's why I was kind of surprised. It doesn't crash that much on me.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. I'm just gonna show a couple of other scenes that I use VR for.
Let's do it.
Because
Oh.
the crab is just a crab, but you can also use it to create modern architecture, for example.
Oh my god, this looks amazing. Look at
That
the
is-
shapes. This
And,
looks amazing, man. Like the shapes are so fluid. I love them. I love your how you translate your personality and style through it. Like you can see
cool,
it.
thanks.
You can
Yeah.
see it in the sketch. It has such a cool fluid.
Mhm.
I have to show this to my best friend. He's an architect. I
Oh,
think
really?
yeah, he
That
does.
would be awesome.
I think he would love it. He does architecture visualization and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
He would be blown away probably, and gonna buy Oculus, I'm sure.
You should. Yeah, I think also for architectural visualization, it's fantastic because, like, let's say your friend has an idea, like, oh, I want to maybe a building that's kind of organic, something like that, and he can just with a couple of strokes, he can just basically make that. And you can also see from my reference that I started with watercolor for this one.
Oh my god, nice.
So I'm trying to sketch out like the overall flowy shapes, and then I'm just using that as a reference to recreate it in VR. All right, let's just use a surface here. And I think,
So when you're using that surface tool, it goes and it draws between the lines. It
yeah,
follows
it's a two-hand gesture. See, you can, and then the
Ah,
symmetry
okay.
is on, so you can see that it mirrors itself.
Okay.
But it allows you to come up with super intricate things and shapes like this.
But it snaps to the lines. I can see that when.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Whenever I press the triggers here, then it locks. Like so, if I press the button, then it gives an extra point, right?
Okay.
And that's how I can make the curves like that.
Nice. I love that, man. I love it. So
yeah,
many
I mean,
options.
I think. I mean, do you have a VR set?
No, unfortunately, I'm buying it soon. I tried
Oh,
it
you
on
should, man. I
THU.
think you will love that. Like for vehicle design, this is so crazy.
What scares me is that I can't get super crisp surfaces, or I think
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
And
That's the
yeah, but for concepting, I think it would be great. I'm getting mine very soon. I tried it on vacuum boot on THU,
mm.
and when I tried it, I was like, oh my god, what is this? Like, I'm seeing the vehicle alive. I said that also to Mike when he was on the stream. He does vehicles in the
Yeah,
VR.
Mike Jelinek, right?
Yes, he was the previous guest, and
Hmm.
man, he does vehicles. I'm blown away by this stuff because you're literally going from 2D to 3D immediately, and you're seeing it. It's not just a 3D; it's you're feeling it. You feel it. As I can see now, when you pull it, I literally have the feeling how it looks in the real life, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that you can see in 3D. You can see a cool shape, but until you build it, you can't. And here, I have a
Hmm.
feeling that you can understand it.
I see. All right. Yeah, and also, by the way, like you were saying that it's okay. It's not the greatest thing for hard surface stuff, but for concepting, it's amazing because if you have, say, for example, this part, I can just copy it over and I can start kind of kit bashing with it. Like, oh, can
Yeah,
I make a more intricate shape by just copying it over in bits and pieces?
that's dope.
And yeah, by doing that, you can just like create an entire city out of this.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Like, look, 3 seconds and you already have a city.
Yeah.
Dope.
Oh man, you're making me giggle. All right, so let's jump into another thing. You know, I'm going pretty fast, but it's just okay. I should have a couple of let's see. There's this very nice startup thing.
Okay.
You can like rotate around and see what kind of models you made. Let's see. Do I have something else? Is it? What?
Is it working?
Yeah, it is working, but apparently. Huh.
The screen. Oh no, okay. Here it is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can find some other scenes.
Oh, look at this.
So this is like a little hard surface train model, and you can see like that a lot of geometry is clashing.
Yeah.
But that's actually fine because my end result is not the 3D model; it's a 2D image. So I can correct all of the mistakes in either my 3D software or my Photoshop.
Okay, we are stopping the stream. I need to buy Oculus now. I will see you
Let's
later,
go.
guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
We
looks
had
amazing.
fun. How long it lasted?
Man, that looks amazing. Amazing. Like for concepting, it's great. Look,
Yeah, right.
now
And
you
you
have a
can
spaceship.
now you have a spaceship
Mm,
by just reusing the little bits and pieces. So
nice.
yeah, the possibilities are limitless. And then you can also, because you know that I do a lot of science fiction work,
Yes.
but you can also do it for more fantasy type of buildings or architecture. So for example, here I have, let's see if it loads, and if it doesn't, cool, it works. So you can see here I had the reference from the lizard there, and
Okay.
I had some watercolor sketches,
Mm.
and then I made these little little buildings off of it.
Oh my god, I love this. You are using a real life reference nature. I love this. Like,
So it's kind of like buildings based on little lizards and chameleons and stuff.
yeah, look at this. Like, it really looks like a chameleon. Like, I love this. I love this. You use a lot of animals that inspire you in your work. I can see that.
Yeah, lately I am because I'm trying to get out of the bit of the comfort zone. So
Mm.
now I'm trying to make inform the designs a little bit more by nature because over the years I've done a lot of work but I've never designed a lot,
Mm.
and now I'm trying to get into that a little bit more,
Yeah.
like actually thinking about shapes and how things would work, stuff like that.
Well, you're doing
But,
great job. This looks
yeah.
amazing.
But it's still very much a learning process, of course.
I,
Yeah,
I,
it's
I love your choice of animals. Like, they are great animals.
yeah, just like I really like the weird animals like jellyfish or lizards or
Yeah.
you name it.
No disrespect to the cats and dogs, but these look cool.
Oh man, I could never make a cat building, right?
Have you ever
Or a
tried?
body.
Have you ever tried? Okay, you don't design cars, but we had to design a car that looked like a cat just to free our
Really?
mind. Trust me, Nobody wants
Wow.
to do that, but it frees your mind. You start thinking totally different.
Yeah. It's super interesting. Like maybe it's like a milk wagon, like that. It delivers milk to buildings, like cat.
Yeah,
All of the little cat residents.
it has the
Anyway,
ears.
yeah. All right. So I've been working for about 20 minutes. I think it's about time that I go into 3D right now.
If you're ready,
Is that
sure.
okay?
If no, prolong it. However it works for you. We can
Yeah.
prolong the stream.
If people have some questions about the VR workflow, then yeah, feel free to ask.
Yeah,
Uh,
guys,
uh,
you heard Leon. If you have some questions, please do ask. I see there is a lot of you, and you're writing that he blew your mind with this. So please, if you have some questions, do ask, or I will ask all of them.
This, I mean, my friend Stein, he was on Playgrounds, he was giving demos, and the people, they were a bit skeptical at first, like, oh, this VR thing, I don't know. And then once they tried it, they were like, what? Can I do this so fast?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous, right?
I think we all go through the same pattern with it, you know.
Yeah, it's yeah, man, it's really fantastic. All right, I'm gonna close this down for a sec because I'm getting really hot with the headset here.
Okay, okay.
And then I'm going to 3D to see if I can add some textures to the crab. Let's see, how does it work? I'll just like press close window. Okay, that was easy.
Perfect.
All right.
Which you use 3D Studio Max, right?
No, I use Cinema 4D.
You use, oh yeah, you're Cinema 4D. How did I forget that? Yeah, you're famous for Cinema 4D. Sorry for that.
Don't worry. It's yeah, I've been. It's just like a software that I started trying. Yeah, at first, and then I just stuck with it basically.
What attracted you to Cinema 4D?
Sorry, I was putting on my headset. I'm back now.
Okay. We have a perfect question now from Bjorn Hori. Hi Bjorn.
Hey Bjorn.
He's asking how many breaks do Leon need to take due to eye strain during a day?
What? How many breaks with what? With VR?
Yeah, because of the eye strain from VR.
Oh man, I have to be honest that I once did VR for 6 hours. And I got so tired and confused, and you know I stepped outside because I needed to go to the shop to buy groceries, and I was like, what is this world? Oh my god, I want to go back into VR. I was so used to the VR stuff that I just got totally mental. But I feel like I can't really use VR for more than an hour and a half right now, I think, without breaks. Because it's just, you know, when you're really into the workflow, it's fine. But yeah, like when you're not really feeling it, I'm like constantly putting off the 3D glasses and then like running around my house. Or
it drains you, right? It really drains you. That's what I saw.
It does.
It can drain. I don't know how they will fix that. That's my main worry. How they can fix, maybe with better optics. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's all about trying to mimic real life, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're wearing glasses in VR, because, you know, I have bad eyes, and it works the same, because your brain thinks like if an object is far away from you, like you don't really see it, and when it's close you do see it. Just like because like my eye, what is that called? Like I can see things up close, but I can't really see them from far away.
Okay.
And it kind of works the same in VR, because your brain gets tricked that it's real life, basically.
You're far-sighted, like me, me.
Yeah, that's what it's called. All right, so I'm just gonna remove all of the textures on this crab while we keep talking.
Okay.
Because I wanted to show how simple the model was. Yeah, you know, before going into textures.
And which rendering system is that?
This is Octane.
Octane. Okay.
Yeah, so the GPU renderer, which is actually fantastic for concept art, because you get live feedback from what you're doing. So like if I'm now changing the lighting, I can instantly see how it would look on my final model, right? Now I'm adjusting the lighting and it looks weird, but it's fine. I have a fog. Yeah, I need to remove the fog for a second. And you see all of these spheres that I have in my scene?
Yeah.
Those are just there to mimic clouds blocking sunlight.
Oh, okay.
But they're just super simple objects. But for the lighting, especially when you go into Photoshop, it's really nice to have that kind of reference going on. All right, I need to adjust the lighting a little bit. and then adjust the blooming, because now it's just like blown out.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So you can see with this crab that it's actually, let me put on the ambient occlusion. Perfect. All right. So the crab it's actually really simple. You can see that there's a couple of buildings on its back, but it's just like clashing a very ugly geometry, right? And it's not even in the correct position.
Yeah.
But since we are working towards creating a 2D image, it doesn't really matter. It's all about like creating the one camera angle that we like the one good composition, and then yeah, you know, if that works, it's fine. Like we don't have to turn it into a game-ready object or into an animation. So yeah, when we're talking about saving time, I'm just all about, you know, copying my stuff all over the place. If I wanted to have buildings on top of it, for example, then I would just create some very simple geometry and then smack it on top of there.
I see. It's perfect for concept art, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so the next step for this model would be to create a texture, because yeah, I mean, we could start painting over from this, but it's a little bit hard, I'd say. Like it just takes a bit of time. So I'm gonna see if I can create a metallic material. When it's done saving, all right, because we don't want it crashing.
That's procedural textures, right?
Yeah.
No.
I never UV unwrap. Because it's just for me it's too slow. Like when do you do UV unwrapping?
I did it a couple of times, but I hate it from the bottom of my heart.
My god! Yeah.
If you want to kill me, give me to do UVs, and that's it. I can do retopo, but UVs, man, I would rather shoot myself in the leg. And it's not because it's hard; it's just something I hate, you know.
Yeah.
I think all the concept artists have the same problem, you know.
Yeah, I pretty much guess so.
Such an creative job.
Oh, it's the worst. Okay, so I have a metallic texture here, but I don't like it, of course. So I'm gonna go to my plugins and I'm gonna make a triplanar texture. Do you know what that is? I think you do, right?
Please do explain, because maybe the guests don't know.
Okay. So a triplanar texture calculates like which side your polygons are facing, and then assigns a color to that. So I can say like that I want my positive y-axis to be like a dark gray, and then I'm just gonna copy that to all of the other axes first, and then I'm gonna give my positive y-axis a green color, and the negative y as well. Oops, I pressed the wrong buttons. Oh man, what am I doing? Sorry about that.
No worries. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, you know, you probably know me. I'm always all over the place, basically, especially
that's good
when I have to present things.
Of course, I mean, it's not easy to present things. Everybody knows that who is here on the stream. It's crazy when you're talking at the same time and presenting. So I respect you for doing this. It's hard, and you are also showing magic, so people are gonna love this.
Okay, let's see what I am forgetting here. I'm just gonna give it a film layer. I just don't really know what it. Oh yeah, it gives it very funky rainbow colored stuff. But I don't want it right now. It's too dark. So let me put that off. Why is my texture so dark all of a sudden? I probably need to like re-render it, because it now it's a bit confused.
Okay.
Because I'm doing so many things at once. Okay, let me just make my diffuse a bit lighter. Does that work? I'll just press render for a second.
You're making it blue, as I can see from the tentacles.
Yeah, that was not supposed to happen though.
Okay.
It just because there's so many polygons from the VR, it takes a little bit of time to set up the render. But yeah, we can.
Okay, no worries. Excellent that you mentioned it. How many polygons does that model have?
Okay, so yeah.
Okay,
right, this looks kind of. Yeah, it works.
I love also, it like this blue.
Yeah, you can see that the blue is only projected on the polygons that face up, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to give like a very quick mimic of kind of sea plants growing on the top of the thing. I don't know, because it's a metallic monster, but I thought it might be cool to have just a little bit of color difference. But in terms of polygons, I'll just check right now. Oh man, that's a lot. It's 5.9. It's almost 6 million polygons.
Okay, that's a lot for a simple model like that. But okay,
Yes.
I mean, you can also put it maybe in ZBrush and Dynamesh it, and you will get it 500,000.
Yeah.
So
Especially when you're, when you're working in a production pipeline, it's often a good idea to, go into another program and decimate the polygons a little bit, because now this is just a ridiculous amount. But then again, because I'm just working on a flat image, I can probably get away with having this amount of polygons. I'll just check my texture real quick to see what I did.
that image
Yeah.
gives it a really Aquaman vibe with that kind of color.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I need to adjust the roughness of my texture. Okay, I already did that. I'm just gonna make all of the, like this stuff, I'm gonna make it a little bit lighter. Let's see if that works. And if it doesn't, it's not the worst thing in the world. Because I prepared like a render, because I finished this image 2 days ago, so I still have that lying around.
Perfect.
So I can show a little bit of the overpaint process as well.
Perfect.
Okay, so now we have the this. Oh, by the way, Darko, if I talk too much, please tell
No,
me.
absolutely. No. Please. This is your time, your stream. Guests are enjoying. I'm enjoying to see this magic. So please do continue. Just no stopping now, Leon.
Okay, awesome. Then I'll just keep going.
Talk even more if you can.
Okay, I will. So you can see that the model is still looking quite simple. And when I was making the painting, or when I was making the render, I was thinking like, it's just missing something.
Yeah.
And then I was messing around with the opacity. And what I did then is I went to my little displacement folder, and then I added an alpha channel to my model. And now you can see there's an insane amount of detail that just appeared, because based on the black and white values in the texture, now geometry shows or doesn't show. So you can see that the crab claws are now super weird, right? There's like holes in it, stuff. And it just gives me so much more detail to work from. Like when I zoom in, for example, we can see the difference, because if I zoom in now, there's so much detail going on those cylinder models. And then if I turn off the opacity, see, now it turns back into my plain old boring model.
Gives a lot of personality to the model that Alpha.
Yeah, and it makes it look like it's like a broken, like a monstrous, like robot thing almost. So I thought that was like a neat idea. And then again, like if I wanted to render this, it would take a lot of time, because it calculates all of the alpha channels on every single object, and there are thousands of objects. So again, not the best, not the most efficient workflow, but definitely a fun workflow.
Yeah, but it looks really good, man. And I'm wondering, as I'm watching this, how strong is your computer?
You can see here in the little bottom corner that I'm using a NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 and a GTX 1080.
Okay.
So, and when it comes to all of the hardware, I'm not sure. Like I bought this computer 3 years ago, and then it was really good, but now I don't really know how good it is.
I have a same setup, so if that is working, anything can work.
Oh, okay. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna try in the meantime, if you have another question, sorry.
Don't worry, I will read the questions now and tell you if there is something.
Awesome.
Probably there is some question, but because I was seeing all of what the things that you are doing, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah.
Please do continue. I will check it now.
Okay, awesome. So what I just did, I created a cube, just like a pretty simple cube, and then I attached a fog material to that cube. So basically everything that is within the cube is now being foggy. And how that works is I just make a transparent texture, and then I go into my medium tab, and there I can like adjust my shader. Let me just turn on the fog real quick. For example, I can adjust the density of the fog, and I can also adjust the color. Let me see if it updates. If not, I'm probably in the wrong material. Let me check.
That's a great trick. I have a feeling that I never use Cinema 4D, but I have a feeling that it's really good for my environments. Like they organized it for concepting. Literally, I have that kind of feeling.
Yeah, they it's Cinema 4D is a program that is kind of focused on motion graphics.
Yeah.
But all of those little tricks, like you have these like procedural workflows, like cloner, like cloning things all over your model, and everything is basically animatable if I wanted to.
I see.
Yeah, so a workflow that I used a lot is the cloner tool, which is literally just like you have a box and then you put it into a cloner. Now you have three, and then by adjusting some parameters, I can tell it to become a bit smaller or like rotate with every step. And by doing that, I instantly have like a high-rise building, right?
I see. That's
So it's all of these kind of techniques that really help you creating this type of stuff.
yeah. We have a question, and the question is: does Leon have any trick on fixing the intersections of the models so it's not just a model smashed into a model?
Well, I don't.
Okay. Okay.
Because again, like I said before, is for me it doesn't really matter if my geometry is clashing or if it's a model within a model, because my final product is not the 3D model, right?
Yeah.
It's a 2D image. So as long as I can hide all of those little geometry clashing mistakes in Photoshop, I'm good basically.
Yeah.
So again, like people wouldn't hire me to create like a super efficient and beautiful model. They would hire you for that, right?
I hope.
For those super nice hard surface and awesome, like where the geometry is correct. But for me, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like not if you give me 10,000 hours to do it, I would never be able, because for me 3D is more of an experimenting tool and not necessarily like a high value production tool.
Do you deliver 3D models to your clients?
Sometimes, just very occasionally.
Okay.
Because like the only way my models are useful is to provide scale, like to see how big a model is, or how how big the legs are, how big the claws are on this crab, for example.
So for a base as a 3D, so they can model over it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for architecture, it's of course nice to have the model as a reference, so architects can look around it and do their magic.
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, I'm just adjusting my lighting, and it's all done in real time. So I'm just rotating, and you can see in this little screen that the lighting instantly changes. And then what I showed before is that I had a couple of spheres in my scene. Let me grab some that I use as some very basic clouds, basically. So I need to make them a bit bigger. Whoops. All right. And then sometimes you can just like attach another fog material onto it. I'm just copying the fog material, and then I'll make it more dense, so it's like a lot less see-through. All right. And then I can use that to kind of block the lighting a little bit. And let's see if I can make a different one. I made this one a little bit too big.
It's crazy how details like that gives so much more personality to the image.
Yeah. Because when you're working 3D, it's everything is being calculated for you, right? So you might as well fix the lighting in 3D already, so you don't have to do it in Photoshop anymore. It just saves you so much time, especially when you're working for clients. So by doing like a little cloud like this, it doesn't even look like a cloud, but it blocks the light just a little bit, right? So I can just focus the detail on this part of the image a little bit more.
I see.
Instead of the lighting being more all over the place without the cloud.
Perfect. Because that kind of tricks always help. And now when you're showing this, I can understand that you use that kind of technique a lot on your images. And yeah, great. Thank you so much for showing this.
Cool. Yeah, no worries, man. I really enjoy doing this, actually.
Perfect.
And it's a lot of fun for me as well, just to see what the possibilities are. Sometimes I just play with the saturation, like put it all up, like, just see what happens, like adjust like the
techno
some points here.
Party. Looks like like we are on playgrounds now.
Yeah. Oh wait, maybe that's animatable. Would it be? Let's see if that might be fun. Okay, so I think I can literally put this on a keyframe, and then I can change the color over time.
Okay.
This is not useful for anything, but it's
but
fun.
It's cool. But it's cool. We are getting
Okay.
a techno crab.
Techno crap. Let's see if that works. All right, so I'll just keyframe it again. And now if I press play,
Okay,
the light slowly changes, right? Whoop!
it's great. It's great. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's fun. And sometimes making a timeline like this, you can see like maybe there's like one frame that is a really nice subtle lighting that you like, and then yeah, you can just pick that one and turn that into a render.
Yeah, yeah. There is a bit of Beeple crap in that. How he
Ah,
creates.
maybe people is that guy is so inspiring.
He is. He really is.
It's
That it looks a bit like him. Maybe if you put it on Instagram, I'm sure the people would love that.
yeah. Have you seen the videos that he did lately with all the political kind of videos? It was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like they are very strange videos to be
yeah,
honest, but inspiring.
yeah. All right. So okay. So I think that's about it for the 3D for now. I can.
And then you export the image from the
Ye-
program and go to
Yeah,
Photoshop.
yeah. Then I just render it and do more different things. You know what? I'll just close this down.
Okay, no,
Just throw it away.
perfect. Goodbye, Techno Crab.
Goodbye, Technocrab, indeed. Okay, and let's see if I can open. All right, because I prepared a little bit. See, it's kind of similar to what we were working on, just a slightly different angle.
That's the raw render.
Yeah, this is what comes out of Octane.
Oh, this looks crazy, man. You really mastered how to pull out the render. It already looks amazing without any post-processing.
Cool, thank you.
Look at this, guys. It already looks without post-processing like a finished piece for me, like literally.
Yeah, so that is usually what I'm trying to aim for. But to be honest, like the Photoshop process is also so much fun. So like if I wanted to be very smart, I would have done even more in 3D, right? To make it look like even more finished. But then I just can't decide between 2D and 3D. So, I often do a lot of post-processing in 2D. So you can see here that I rendered a Z-depth pass. And by using, for the people who don't know what a Z-depth pass is, basically the objects that are closest to the camera, they get assigned a darker value than the objects that are farther away from the camera. And by doing that, you can use it as a layer mask and adding some fog, for example. So let me just add a layer, put it on screen, and then I can use this Z-depth pass, and I can throw it into my layer mask. And if I paste it in, see now my fog applies more to the background than to the foreground.
Perfect.
See that the claws, they don't change as much in terms of value, but the crab in the back changes a lot.
It got a lot of depth. Like you can really feel the scale when you put the layer. You now feel how big it is. Great stuff.
And once that is done, I can try and turn it into a finished image. I want it to be a little bit more vibrant, so I'm just gonna turn the vibrance up. Yeah, that should do it. And then also, by the way, like with using those the Z-depth pass, I can just simply select the background values as well if I wanted to paint in like a sky, for example.
Well,
so these are just.
Sorry for interrupting. What do you use to paint? You use Vacom?
Yes, yeah. I have just a regular Wacom Intuos tablet. I don't have a Cintiq.
Okay.
Because I think they're a little bit too big for me, and I'm not the best painter, so I feel I don't have as much use for it yet. But so a regular Cintiq is just perfect for me, along with some brushes. By the way, my file size is very small. That's why my brushes are a little bit faster. I just put it on 3000 pixels because I didn't want any lag to happen.
Okay. I would go crazy if I had lag with the brush. I'm honestly telling you.
I think it's really annoying.
I mean, stops the creativity,
Absolutely, yeah. And like even with the VR, like when it lags like that, you're like, now it feels like every other program because it's just like lagging.
Yeah, when you get that creative flow and you are painting or drawing, and then all of a sudden something crashes and you're like, I lost it. Yeah, so
yeah. All right, I'm just gonna grab a little sky texture. I went to like a little island close to the Netherlands, and
Okay.
they had a very nice beach side. So I'm just copying from that. I could probably use the beach as well. And then again, if this image would be for a client, then this would be all about setting the mood, right? Like usually when I get work.
You there, Leon? We can't hear you. Are you there? Okay, you're back. You're back.
Oh,
You're back.
really?
Yeah, something happened.
Oh, I think I put myself on mute, and I was just like telling the whole big story.
Oh, okay, we can hear it again.
So I went to this island in the Netherlands, and there I took a photo.
Oh no,
couple
no,
of
that we
photos.
heard. We didn't hear it literally for 30 seconds, so don't worry. For 30
Okay.
seconds.
All right. So what I was trying to say was that whenever I work for a client, they hire me to come up with the initial mood, right?
Mm.
I don't have to worry about like all of the details a little bit. It's just about trying to set like the mood for the story or whatever. And of course, it's usually environments because I'm not Bjorn Hurry. Like I can't draw characters at all.
Mm.
I'm trying to do a model drawing classes, but it's hard.
How is that going? When did you start?
Just recently, like I'm just it's not really a class. Like I try to do these poses from the internet. Like they give you like 3 minutes per pose.
Ah, okay.
But maybe I should join like a proper class with like actual feedback and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, every time I hear the class, I remember some of the events because people are always drawing on it.
Yeah.
You know, there is always some model to draw. And every time when I see people drawing on event, I'm like, I'm not gonna draw on event. I work 360 days in a year. I'm not gonna draw now when I'm here.
Yeah. I've kind of the same thing. Plus, I'm not like confident enough to draw. What is happening with this circle? That is not supposed to happen at all.
Circle of life.
What's that?
Circle of life. Now,
I-
now
lit-
I will appear from that circle and get out and enter your room and steal your stuff.
But it's so weird. Like this never happened to me.
Portal,
Like,
man. It's a portal to Serbia.
Yeah, probably. Oh, to Serbia. I went to Belgrade. I love that city so much.
Oh, I know you told me. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah,
are,
I think it's great.
yeah, you are invited always to come here.
I love that big fortress that you have in the middle of the city that used to be like it used to be Ottoman and then or like from the Romans first and then the Ottomans and then more people and then the Magyar and all of these people.
Everybody was here.
Everyone like built more castle on top of the
Yeah,
castle.
everybody wanted to be here, but good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard Belgrade is a nice place. Let's all go there.
Let's go there. I hear they have some beautiful stuff.
Yeah, like this castle, we gotta see that.
Yeah, let's rebuild it.
All right, so I can use the Z depth pass to just make a quick selection of my values as well. If I wanted to separate this claw, for example, I can just invert my selection, and then with a soft brush, I can separate the values a little bit more.
You use a lot of Z passives, I can see.
Yeah, because it's like a multifunctional tool. You can literally use it for everything.
It's crazy how that one stroke changed completely the image. Like it gave it again so much personality. I like how intuitive you are when you are working. I love that because I'm not an artistic person like that. I can do that in design, but when it comes to this, I need to sit down and think. And you're literally doing it in the move.
Oh yeah. It's all about you're trying to make like a composition on the fly, especially when you're on like a very short time frame.
Yeah.
And what I'm also doing, by the way, is I'm using the mixer brush. So I'm literally sampling parts from my image and using that as a brush. So let's say if I like this detail on this little line here, I can sample it with my mixer brush, and then see I can just paint it back in. Have you tried that before, the mixer brush?
Of course. It's perfect for
so
this
cool, right?
It's perfect. By the way, you know what it reminds me now when you zoomed it in? Did you watch Ninja Turtles?
Depends on which one.
The old ones from the 90s, 80s, 90s.
With the live action model, live action people?
No, the real cartoon where they have
the cartoons.
where they have what's the name of the thing, the ball that's the Krang is driving, you know, the big vehicle. It reminds me of that. I have to find the photo now and show you. I should first find that photo and then started talking. I will find it later. It's their city. It reminds me of that. It's very cool design.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And you are using mixer brush and normal brush, and you are making the values and everything work, as I can see, and it's giving it also a lot of personality. I'm
Yeah.
really liking that about your work, because you are very expressive when it comes to design. Very expressive.
All right.
I always, when I'm seeing people's work, you have technical people, you have expressive people, and you have something in between. That's my observation. And for you,
Mhm.
you're super expressive. It's art. It's real art, when you're doing it. So
I wish it felt like that all the time because, like, more often than not, it's also pretty much a struggle, right? Like, oh man, I'm doing the same stuff over and over, and how do I get out of this? Stuff like that, right? So it doesn't always feel like, oh, I'm making art, right?
yeah,
It's sometimes hard, like when you're, especially when you turn something that is so cool, like art, when you turn it into a job, it suddenly literally becomes a job. So yeah, I think it's very important to just keep the fun aspect
yeah. We
and
got,
to.
by the way, the guys wrote me the vehicle is called Technodrome. I totally forgot. What? Thank you, Paul, so much. The name of the vehicle is Technodrome.
Techno drum. Oh, I
Yeah,
gotta look it up.
yeah. I will send you the photo after the stream so I don't mess something up. But yeah, thank you, Paul, for that. I forgot completely.
Oh, let's see. I mean, this already. I feel this kind of works. What I sometimes do to check if my thumbnail or my composition is alright, I go to noise and then I go to dust and scratches,
Hmm.
and then I just like make my image like a lot more abstract, something like
Oh,
that.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and then
That's
you still see that there's some kind of value separation going on. Like in the background, it becomes a little bit more of a blob, so I might want to fix that later. But yeah, this is like a quick way to check like if your overall composition is working, like even from so far away. And
yeah.
then and now I'm back. And what I can do, for example, is I can put a little bit more emphasis on, the middle of the crab where the lighting hits. So I can turn that into, or like I can up the contrast a little bit more there, something like that, make it a little bit more light, not too much.
Magic.
And then let's see if I can add some very cheap ass god rays or something. I don't know, man. It's
It's
yeah, it's fun.
you need to have Aquaman in that photo somewhere.
I think people have been telling me this on Instagram. And a lot of people have been reminding me of there's like this video, like the crab rave or something,
Okay.
which is like a dance song, but it has these animated little crabs that are dancing on a beach.
Hmm.
And it's a lot of fun.
I know that video with the crab when it's holding the knife. You know that?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that one.
Vicious creatures, I know it.
Yeah, they're horrible. I hate them. I have a good friend of mine. He has like a personal vendetta against crabs.
What
Don't
happened?
ask me why. I don't know, man. He was probably on a beach and he got probably like
Stabbed.
stabbed by one with a knife. And now whenever he sees one, it's like, ah, that's my arch nemesis.
I have arch nemesis, the cats,
Yeah.
but I love them.
Oh yeah, your cat. Yeah.
It's a love hate relationship. I love them and hate them at the same time. So,
Mm.
and I love cats. I'm joking, but I always call them my arch nemesis because somehow they look me strange when they are walking, and they're a huge inspiration for my work.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Many
that's
people don't
cool.
know that, but they are a huge inspiration. I have in my street where I live, I have a cat that has one ear, man, and I call it
Oh wow.
I call it one-eared cat, and that's
What
a.
is that's a very original name. Man, by the way, I was just like adjusting some of the values in my Z depth pass because I wanted to try something different with atmospherics to have a little bit more like value separation between all of those elements, but I'm not sure if it worked.
Mm.
Let me see. I'll just like do it a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna use levels to make the contrast even bigger. So I just jumped back into my layer mask, and now I'm just upping the contrast a little bit more because I want some separation between those cylindrical objects here and like the belly of the crab.
I see.
All right, let's see if that works. Let's go back. Yeah, sure, a little bit. It just gives it a little bit more depth.
Yeah. Uh,
Doesn't really need it, but yeah.
you know when I'm looking at that piece. What I'm wondering to ask you, we went through so many steps, but what is the most beneficial step for you when you know that the work's gonna be good?
I think like if I don't get a convincing 3D render, yeah, I know that the work isn't gonna be good. Like I'm not experienced enough to fix all of my mistakes in Photoshop. So I do need a very strong like a design or like a concept in 3D. And once I'm very happy with that, then yeah, I'm quite sure that the 2D image will work as well. So it's almost like a very elaborate post-production workflow that I do. It's just that I just paint a lot more.
I see.
But yeah, but most of the design decisions and most of the experimentation is already done in 3D. So I hope that answers the question, but I feel that for me is the most important thing. Like when I know that something might work or might not work.
It definitely does, because every artist has a different approach, when it comes to that. So that's great to hear always, because also when I'm designing, I have different kind of approaches. What makes it for me, it was always overall shape. If I have a good overall shape,
oh yeah,
I know where it's gonna go.
I'm selecting my normal pass right now to select like you can see probably that the polygons that are facing downwards, they are purple.
Yeah.
And with the color range, I just selected only the purple values. And by doing that, now I have I have a selection, and I'll just hide the selection because I'm gonna paint in some color, color dynamics. So let me just grab some blue and let's see what happens. Like when I start painting it in, you can see that it only applies to certain areas of the claw here.
Yeah.
So I can do blue, for example, but what if I would pick like a red color? Maybe that would work. Just to make the colors a little bit more dynamic, because if my whole image was blue, it would get a little bit boring. So I want a little bit of red just to show through maybe in the shadow areas, something like that.
Are you inspired by painters? Have you been watching their work also? Because I have a strong feeling that you did. Maybe I'm wrong, but
yes, I think my favorite painter is John Harris.
Okay.
He is like a science fiction painter, and oh man, that guy he has so much experience, and he works with these kind of lost edges techniques where he just like sometimes he just blurs an edge like this, for example, with the smudge tool, and it just looks so beautiful when he does it. He creates like super vibrant worlds, all hand painted, of course, like not like me, like doing my dirty 3D tricks. But yeah, I think for me he's the most inspiring artist that most inspiring traditional artist that I know. But then of course I also do get inspired by a lot of 3D artists out there, or by Beeple or by Mike Jelinek, who was on your show last week. Right? Yeah. Or by your vehicles, for example, just to throw a compliment in your face.
Oh, thank you very much. Please continue, please. Yeah, that's good to hear, because I think that variety is very important, and I have a feeling that you look at a lot of different stuff, because I can see that in your paintings and your environments, and I have a feeling that you're implementing a lot of different stuff, which is always very important for any artist.
So here, I just jumped into the final image real quick to show like some final adjustments. Like, come to think of it, I could probably have used like a little bit of a more atmospherics, like maybe a screen layer like this to give it a little bit more depth. But yeah, I mean that is what it would look like in the end. But this was after like a full day of painting over. Yeah. So yeah, a lot more time went into that than just a quick thing that we just made.
Yeah. But also the quick thing looks amazing, man.
Yeah, but that's because the 3D model has so much detail that it's and the shapes were all right and the lighting was okay, so it was hard to screw it up actually.
Man, it's for this amount of time that you did this, I'm freaking impressed, man. I'm freaking impressed that you did it in this short amount of time.
Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, it's just a very how's that called? Intuitive workflow. Like once you make a ton of these paintings, you're like, oh, it needs this and it needs that. And I'm still learning, of course. Like I'm still trying to find new ways to, make it quicker, because more often than not, it's such a struggle to get like the nice images. Especially in 3D, like I can easily like lose 2 days just in 3D because
We lost you again with the sound. We lost you again.
okay,
You're back.
yeah,
You're
I'm
back.
back. I don't know. I think I'm pressing a hotkey.
Probably because
I'm-
the Skype is on. Maybe M. Are you using the move tool?
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
definitely it was M because I'm using Control M for my curves tool.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah,
Why does it work like that?
I don't know. I will change Skype after this session. No more Skype for this.
No, no, man, that's good. It's just like that. I use the curves tool a lot in Photoshop, so
Yeah.
for me it makes. But I didn't know that it was the mute button actually. Super random. Yeah. Oof. I mean, the time flies when you're having fun, right?
Did you get tired from talking and working?
I'll probably be very tired once we're done.
Same here. I get exhausted. It looks so
Yeah.
easy, and then you finish. You're like, oh, I need.
Oh
to
man, but let me just like tell you that it's so cool that you're doing your live stream. I've been trying to do it, but I just found that it's so hard to keep up with it. And you've been so consistent for the last 25 episodes, and I think that's really worth saying or mentioning right now.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
owe it to the guests like you that come because you're the guys that are continuing this stream. I'm gonna continue doing it, and for sure I will bring you again in next year probably.
I think it's so great that it's that you're doing this. Definitely.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It has been a wild ride, I can tell you that. But we have a question for you, and I
Awesome.
think that this would be good to answer. So somebody's asking you, what do you recommend for increasing your Photoshop knowledge? Because there is a lot of Photoshop courses online focusing on photo manipulation,
Yeah.
but these are not so beneficial for concept art. Well,
No, that's right.
yeah.
So what I did though is, when I was in art school, which was actually theater design, I did 2 courses with James Peck, who is now running the Brainstorm School. But back then he was doing some courses on CGMA Academy, which is an online art academy. And I learned a lot of like the design, environment design fundamentals there. But when it comes to Photoshop tools, I think most of the tools that are being used for photo manipulation can also be used for drawing and painting, like the lasso tool and stuff like that. So when it comes to learning a technical software, the best thing you can do is just do it, right?
Yeah.
You just use the program, try new things, maybe do a weird tutorial on how to create a spaceship from scratch. Why not, right? If it teaches you the software, then it's great. And then and once you learn those new techniques, you can start applying those techniques to your workflow. Like I found out about the mixer brush a year ago, and then I was like, "Ooh, how can I do this in combination with 3D? Like, how can I combine this technique with something that I already know and do?" And that's when so now I'm like sampling parts of my 3D image and use it as a brush.
Same
So you
happened
have
to
to
me with
say-
with a smudge brush. That's what happened to me 1.5 years ago. Like, what
Oh,
is
the smudge is perfect.
smudge brush? I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't need to use airbrush. Like, because in car design we use airbrush. Nobody uses it. I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
magic. I want to do it all the time. And since then, that's the main tool that I use.
The smudge brush, it's so cool, especially when you want to hide some of your especially when you're doing hard surface design. It's a great way of hiding your super tight geometry, right?
And in car design, we used to use airbrushes all the time. Can you imagine that? And
Yeah.
I wish I found it earlier. One more question. So I missed somehow this question, so I'm coming back. I apologize.
Okay.
Has Leon tried collaborative Oculus Medium modeling?
Didn't they disable that function?
I don't know. I don't use it. I don't use it.
Because my friends and me have been trying to work it out, like how we could get into this, but I believe that the function is disabled. But I'll check it, like once the stream is done. I'll check it right away if that's still a thing, because that's something I would definitely want to get into. Like, imagine that you can go into your VR scene with your concept art friends, right, and create like a gigantic world out of scratch.
So that's you're in the same world and you're drawing together.
Yeah, how cool would that be? That's like the future of collaborative
insane.
design, I think.
That's
Yeah.
insane. But I'm afraid I will never leave my home again. That's what scares me.
Yeah, man. Oh, totally, for me as well.
Oh my
But
god. But now when you say it, I'm thinking about it in my head and I'm like, oh my god, like, can you imagine the possibilities?
yeah, especially when you're a company, when you're like a concept design company, you can literally just work together with your coworkers and okay, this spaceship looks amazing, but what if we do this? And then your friend just like blows your spaceship out of the air. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
that would be insane, because
yeah.
it's all about the connections. We people are all about connections, even though there is internet and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But we are all
absolutely.
about connecting, even though we are sitting in our rooms. And that's
Hmm.
what scares me about VR. I don't want to connect VR. I mean, it has its advantages, but I want to see people. That's
Oh, I see. Yeah, but it gets very close to seeing people because you can see what people are doing, right? You can almost interact with their hand movements, basically.
mm, I see. I see. Perfect. Perfect. So maybe we can finish the stream. I think you created a piece.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it's almost done. Like there's still a ton that is wrong with it, but like for now, yeah, for now it's fine.
I want to ask you one more question that I'm
Uh-huh.
interested in, and that's, do you have any plans for this or the next year where we will see you on the festivals? So I know I can organize and come and see you.
Oh, so usually like the festival that I always go to and I'm always a part of is Playgrounds
Okay.
because it has a Dutch organization. You were there in Berlin, of course.
Hmm.
So I'm always there, and I think I'm planning to go to IFCC this year as well
Nice. Nice.
because it's just such a great like get together, like almost like a little social holiday with just your friends like who do the same stuff as you.
We met on the IFCC 2017 or 16, I think.
Yeah,
2016.
I think 16 even. Yeah, it was quite a while ago already.
Time flies, man.
Yeah,
Time flies.
it's crazy. Yeah, I
It's
remember you telling your crazy stories there. It was so funny.
yeah. Let's not go in that direction.
Yep. Nope.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was such a pleasure to meet you there. It was such a pleasure to see you now in Berlin, and even bigger pleasure that you decided to come on my stream. I appreciate that a lot, man.
I mean, yeah, the pleasure is absolutely mine. I really enjoyed talking with you, and yeah, again, I hope I wasn't rambling too much.
Absolutely no,
This is
absolutely
probably a
no.
thing I'll get very insecure about once the stream is done, but you know how it goes.
I will
We're
tell you
always like,
immediately that you don't need to be insecure because you did
okay, perfect.
amazing, man. I love this stream. Guests love it. I can tell you by comments. They really appreciate, and I appreciate that you did so many. So you don't need to get insecure. It was very inspirational to see your process because it's completely different from others people.
Cool.
So I would like to thank you for that, and also I hope to see you very soon somewhere around the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that would be great. I believe like meeting artists in person, like you said, it's the best thing you can do.
Mm,
Yeah, instead of sitting around your computer like doing the same work over and over.
yeah.
Yeah. So for everyone who is like listening, I think like going out and visiting conferences is absolutely the best thing about this industry.
Yeah, I agree. It's people need to get out and meet people because it's not only about drawing, it's also
Hmm.
about communication. That's how
Yeah.
I see it.
Hmm.
So now you see, we met and I invited you to the stream. That's how
Yeah.
it works. That's how it
Yeah.
works.
Crazy things happen.
Crazy things.
And then we've been talking for like an hour and 20 minutes already. So
Yeah, the time
time
flies,
flies.
man, when you are enjoying this kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, guys, Leon, first of all, thank you one more time for coming.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much, Darko.
thank you for coming and giving us this huge amount of knowledge and inspiration. And thank you to all who are watching the stream at the moment and who will watch in the future when it's online. It will be online in 45 minutes, so you know I have to say that because many people have been asking me when do videos come out in approximately 45 minutes when the YouTube processes them. So have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you are in the world. Thank you guys. Thank you, Leon. I will see you around. Bye.
All right. Totally. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye.